Hey everybody, so this video is about how I pack my POV to deliver the mail and how that's kind of changed as I've gone along, okay? It's been, I started delivering mail in 2018, so wow, it's coming up on, it's gonna be 3 years in May since I started. So yeah, it's been a while, 2.5 years of delivering mail, and things have changed a little bit. Okay, so what changes have I made? How do I pack my POV? So I have a crossover called Ford Taurus X, which is similar to a Ford Flex or a Ford Freestyle. It's more like a Ford Freestyle, but if it's the predecessor to the Ford Flex. This is a Suburban, but it gives you the idea. Okay, so this is how I initially started setting up packing my vehicle. So at first, packages have blown up the last few years, but I used to be able to fit the large parcels in the very, very back of my vehicle for the most part. Some days there'd be heavy days, and I wouldn't really sort them too much. I'd just be kind of like, I'd kind of keep it handy if I knew it was one of the first addresses, if it was early on. I kind of just like, oh, I think this is in the back, so this goes over here. This is in the front, I think, so it goes over here. And then when I got to an address, I would just look at them. So all the large parcels in the back, no real order to them when I started. And then I would have tubs, dish pans filled with my mail and my flats. That would go there in that middle section. And I had like a bungee cord that I ran across my vehicle to kind of keep them from sliding around. I should mention also, I had all my seats folded down, and that's the way I do it. It's easier to deliver. It does take up a little more space that way though. Okay, you do give up a little space with your seats down. And then I'd have my spurs, like a bucket filled with my packages. So a mail bucket sitting on my seat next to me for my small packages. And extra ones I just set on top of the containers of mail in the back. That's where I put them, wherever they fit, basically. And then I would sit in the passenger side because I have pedals. I have pedals on the right side, pedal kit. And then I would have one of those dish tubs on my lap. Now, as time went on, I didn't like having the dish tub sitting on my lap, so I wound up attaching it to my dashboard. I have one of those little grab bars on the passenger side. And so using some bungee cords and some little metal brackets, I took one of these dish pans and attached it to my dashboard so that I could just grab the new dish pan, set it in that one, take the strap out, and start delivering mail without it sitting on my lap. It was just hanging off my dashboard. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about dish pan, little Rubbermaid dish pan. You buy them for like $2 or $3 at Walmart. I bought like 20 of them so I could have my mail in there. You drop a strap in there, as you pull down, you put your mail in an order. I would crisscross it unless I had a box holder. I would lay it flat inside there, and then I'd strap it tight. It'd be heaping coming over the top, okay? And at the beginning, I had like 8 or 9 of those on a regular time. Sometimes you'd have a little more, 10 or 11, but usually about 8 or 9, okay? Now, what happened was political season, so started getting a lot more mail. It was, in the fall, started getting a lot more mail. And I wound up, I was only halfway done pulling down, and I had like 17 of these dish tubs. It's like, I don't have any more containers. I don't know what to do. So I started using waffle trays. Okay. That's where I started putting my mail in my flats in waffle trays, standing up, crisscrossed, waffle trays. And that changed how I loaded my vehicle. First thing that I changed was I started marking the packages. So I said what row they were in. They were in row 6, they're in row 5. Okay. And then I would put packages from row 5 and 6 in the back on the driver's side, and packages from 3 and 4 in the back on the passenger side. And then 1 and 2 would go in right behind me, right behind my seat. Okay. And then down the middle, kind of that little crack between the 2 seats, I'd have a tray with my spurs so I could reach back and grab the next spur, reach back, look at it, grab the next spur. I'd have them in order, didn't mark them anymore, but I'd have them in that little crack between the seats in just a letter tray, okay? Not a waffle tray, just a plastic letter tray. And then my extra waffle trays would go here. They would have my flats. So my magazines and my letters would all be in there. I used to case all my DPS. That's where it would go. And then I'd have the one I was working out of laying on the seat next to me, okay? So that was it. That was how I did it for a long time. Spurs right here, just in order, and just working out of that tray next to me, grabbing it, okay? All right, but then I decided, oh, this would be a lot faster if I didn't have to case my DPS. I'm incredibly slow at casing DPS, so this is how that changed. All right, first of all, I started putting my packages for row 6 kind of as flat as I could on the driver's side behind the front seat, right? And then 5 would go behind that. 3 and 4 would go in the back. And then right behind me would be 1 and 2. So that didn't change too much. It's just kind of, I spread out 6 so that I could put stuff on top of it, okay? And then now I started putting my spurs in with my flats. So it's spurs, flats, and unsorted letters. That's what goes in my trays now, okay? I use a 24-inch bungee cord to hold it in place. I just strap it over the top. Well, my extra ones go there behind the driver's seat, okay? And then on the driver's seat, I've got the one I'm working out of. And again, it's got my flats, some letters, and also my spurs, most of my spurs, you know, the things that kind of fit in a tray well. If it's a weird shape, like it's round or it's a triangle, then I'll just mark it like it's a big parcel and have it laying back there, okay? And then I would have a tray of DPS laying on my front dashboard, laying on my dashboard, okay? And then behind my seat, I'd have my extra. So there's a little bit of space on the floor behind the seat, and that's where I keep my DPS. And then they still have that bucket mounted. You can see it in the picture behind me. Still have that bucket mounted hanging off my dashboard. But now I've put like a little letter tray. I've bungee cord that on top of it so that I can have some DPS laying there. So I can work out of that little tray with my DPS as I grab my flats from the side. So work out of there, grab my flats, into the mailbox. Okay, so that's how I'm delivering mail right now. Some pictures. So this is what my car looked like on Saturday this week. You can see on the driver's seat is laying that waffle tray with, now that has a lot of letters in it because that first bit I do put my DPS in for that first little bit. It's got letters. It's got you can see a little blue package there, and you can see some flyers, some magazines. Okay. Then right here, here's that dish tub that's laying, that's attached to my little old heck bar on my dashboard. See, it's bungee corded on there, and there's some metal brackets holding it. Anyways, and then I've got this plastic letter tray. I taped some felt down so it wouldn't slide as much. The letters wouldn't slide as much, but that's a letter tray with some DPS on it. And then right behind that, you can see on my dashboard, I have more DPS. I have a tray of DPS. That one's about half full. Okay, a little more than half full. All right, so that's what it looks like when I deliver. Oh, and on the floor over there, you know, I have my pedals there, so I don't have to reach over to the pedals. So on the driver's side on the floor, I've got a little orange bucket I got from IKEA, and that's where my outgoing mail goes. Okay, so the mail I pick up at the box, that's where it goes. And here you can see, this is my view out of the vehicle. I've got my parcel sheet hooked up to the visor. You can see the DPS in that letter tray in front of me, and you can see a tray of DPS sitting on my dashboard. Then this is the passenger side. So these are packages from, well, actually there are some packages from row 3, I have to say there, because there wasn't much for 1 and 2. But yeah, 1 and 2 would go here. And then you can see on the floor, you see that space between the front seat and the back seat. I put there's a stack of DPS trays. That's all raw DPS, right? It's all, it's in order. So my last ones are on the bottom. The next ones are on the top. There's 3 trays there. And here you can kind of see here's a tray filled with spurs and flats. You can see some flats peeking out. You can see there's that 24-inch bungee cord. This blue thing here is my sweatshirt. So normally this would go on these would go on the driver's side, but I have 3 of them over there. And then I had to put one here just because of space. It was a 5 tray day, not a 4 tray day. What are you gonna do? So that's what things kind of look like when I deliver the mail. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this video is helpful to you. Be happy to hear from you. Okay. Have a